Welcome to DeFi by Design, where we talk all things blockchain and cryptocurrency while striving to educate, empower, and enrich.
It's your boy Andy, and welcome back to the DeFi Slate YouTube channel. Smash the like button on this video, that really helps us out, and sit back and enjoy the content. Thank you very much.
Hey, what is going on? Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the DeFi Slate YouTube channel. Today, we are super stoked to be talking to Naetion with Omar and Alec from their team. And Naetion is super cool because it's bringing interconnectivity between employers, employees, open source projects, and coders, shadowy super coders, community members, project managers. If you're looking for a job in Web3, Naetion is your place. It's your job hub. It's really like the yellow pages of the metaverse of Web3, of blockchain. So I'm super stoked to talk to Omar and Alec about what Naetion has been building and dive into kind of how we can bring more developers, more community members into the fold in these projects, and talk about kind of some operational stuff. So Alec, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing great. Super excited to do this. Been ever since permissionless. Had a nice chat. But yeah, we can come back. I think I will start just by introducing myself. So Alexander, co-founder and CEO of Naetion. If we even have CEOs nowadays, you call them mayors instead, maybe. But so we're right now we're building the new world of work. Comes with a background within VC, within supply chain, sales. Not in Web3, but got to sniff around. So now we're here. Omar, I'll give the word to you.
Yeah. So I started out, my background is marketing. That's what I studied. I graduated in 2020, got into a marketing agency position, and then from there actually left that, got into the crypto space, started investing in NFTs full time. And then from there, I discovered I could kind of marry these two backgrounds, and I joined on with an NFT marketing agency. And from then I joined up with Naetion as the community manager. So that's what I'm doing. And I believe you and I, Rob, we met at Permissionless. So maybe we can touch on that first.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Omar and I were, I think we were running around the booths chatting, and we kind of struck up a conversation, and it sounded really interesting what you guys were building as far as, actually onboarding these people directly to projects. And it created kind of this landscape where I think the incentives are a little bit difficult to iron out, since you're dealing with projects, that are, probably tokenized open source, but they have their own kind of human resources and onboarding process. And then Naetion more as like this recruiter middleware, but obviously providing a important tool and a service to the overall ecosystem. Could you kind of talk about, what that onboarding process looks like for anyone that's, joining Naetion and they're looking for a job in Web3?
Of course. Yeah. So, first of all, I think our approach is a bit different from some of the other players in this space. Because to be honest, it's really, the big opportunity really lies at, the intersection of consumer and crypto, right? And how we can make, easy UI and UX and make Web3 feel, Web2, but better. So part of the onboarding plan is for us to verify what people did previously and make sure that we don't store any of their previous work history on chain. That's not correct. I mean, we're obviously targeting specifically like resumes and LinkedIn, where you can just like put whatever you want. So we want all the info on there to be right. And once people complete that and we verify the portfolio, the like previous clients, stuff like that, we make sure to bring them on a quick call to verify, this is actually the person, and they're super engaged and want to do this. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess talk us through like the mechanism design a bit, as far as the, the help token, and just kind of like end to end. If someone wants to, starting from kind of the employer side, like if there's projects out there that are looking for talent, whether it's developers or community managers, kind of all across the board, what, is it, just kind of talk us through that process of like trying to, bring in the outsiders of this ecosystem, like onto these projects.
Yeah, for sure. So, first of all, I would say that, Naetion believes in a very transparent and community-driven work life. So what we are doing and what we are believing in is this ecosystem of service providers, creators, talent, and giving them a place to easily show off, monetize, and even manage their skills, like automate bookings, automate invoicing, so they can really focus on what they do best, but also make sure that they keep 100% of their earnings, which is especially what's totally off in Web 2 at the moment. But on the other side, interacting with this network, you have companies, you have people who's all able to find these great services and talent instantly, because we pre-vet, we make sure that what they've done previously is actually verified, and you can like build trust instantly instead of you as an HR team needing to do all the vetting yourself. And yeah, so we can create community ownership, already doing so. So paying out as we go, the NTN token, like the Naetion ecosystem token, to top performers for 5-star reviews, stuff like that, for building the ecosystem, for educating the ecosystem, for being an ambassador for the ecosystem. We have like a grants program, but by doing so, for the HR side of it, we can also turn payroll into revenue, and I think that's we would probably need a bit more time for people to like wrap their head around it so we can touch back, but also like align incentives. So we want to make sure that the employee and employer relationship is also taken like 10 years ahead. We say this like work like it's 2032. So what we mean by that is essentially right now employers would also take most of the value generated within the employees, but we want to make sure that once you also perform, once you also deliver, on the employee side, there's a very strong incentive for you there as well, and a bonus coming. Yeah, so doing that with the token and doing it with the utility NFTs dropping very soon.
You guys have a pre-sale mint live right now, right?
Yeah, so we have a token pre-sale live, and we also have like a pre-mint so people can go secure their spots.
Awesome. Yeah, that's super cool, and I'm still like kind of wrapping my head around the Naetion incentives that continue after they're employed. I guess my understanding of Naetion is kind of this landing spot for anyone who's looking for a career in Web3, and from there they can kind of branch out. They can find these different products and projects and end up joining one. As far as the middleware service that it provides, it's kind of like this. It's kind of like an Indeed, right, or like an online recruiter that helps you kind of find your place in the Web3 world. And right now, once you get hired from Indeed, that's kind of like you're off of that recruiter. Could you unpack kind of like the ongoing incentives that you mentioned that Naetion provides, even after you join a project and you're getting compensated from that project? Like, what is Naetion's role after you're employed?
Of course. So, besides from further educating you and especially the freelancers often lacking the feeling of, a team, missing an identity. So, we can also do so via the community. But I think that the biggest incentive that I would want to spend a few minutes on is how we, turn payroll into revenue and make sure that there's, this, that as incentives are aligned between the employer and the employee. So essentially what we do then is when people join people from Naetion, they would do it on Naetion contracts. Need to get started. So they do it on Naetion contracts. And what we do then is they pay their salaries and stuff in fiat currency. If it could be cryptocurrency, but in most cases right now it would be in fiat currency. What we do then as Naetion is we take the NTN token and invest on those contracts. So essentially you turn that job contract on chain, into an investment case. Yeah, and let's say the token is now trading at, not trading, but being sold at 5 cents. So once there'll be 10 cents, there'll be 100% yield. So essentially what that means is you have $100,000 of salaries on people paid through Naetion, on Naetion contracts. We also vest that contract with, let's say, 150,000 USD. And there'll be a 100% yield, and 75% of that goes back to the company hiring. So essentially you would have free payroll, and you would make a profit from your payroll. And you would also earn a bonus for being hired on that contract.
Cool. So there's like yield farming on these like salary contracts almost.
Yeah, you could put it like that.
Yeah. Cool. So like I'm an employee, and then I can continue to earn these Naetion tokens by almost like by staking my investment contract, right? Like once I get hired, I have this salary and I have this contract with my employer, and I could stake that contract on chain and earn the yield of the Naetion token for staking that salary.
Yeah, correct. But it's all made by us. I mean, we believe that you shouldn't know, how to do all this. So we just do it and pay you, the yield when it's ready.
Sweet. Cool. So like, what are some of the activity you guys are seeing now? Like, is there projects out there that are using Naetion like really, actively? I guess what are some of the trends and patterns that you guys have seen in the recent months?
Yeah, so started off especially within designers, like creative work, some professional stuff, and really only picked up like for real on like Web2 companies wanting to innovate, and a lot of them wanting to tap into Web3, but especially after permissionless, talking to all these Web3 companies. That's really growing space too. So I think we're working on a bunch of it, so can't really disclose any names. But I would say that there's a lot of A-list opportunities coming to the community very soon.
Awesome. Yeah, that's sweet. Yeah, there's obviously a bit of a rocky road here in terms of the markets. Correcting a bit. We've seen a bit of a hiring squeeze around Web3. Do you anticipate that pattern kind of happening indefinitely, kind of like, over, a sustained period of time? Do you think this hiring squeeze is going to last? It seems like, once the bear market kind of corrects, whether that's another 3 months, another year, the cyclic nature of the markets moving back up will kind of revitalize the hiring market. What kind of trends are you seeing? Do you anticipate like, Coinbase, like, really laying people off, or do you think, this trend reverses relatively soon?
Yeah, I think, it's definitely like we need a correction. That's for sure. And it's been, out of control for the past, year and a half, I would say, where there was stuff happening where like, that can't be true. So yeah, we need a correction, but I think for us it's all right because our scope is like wide enough to adapt to it. It's not like we need, you have now, even with Apple announcing the, Apple Pay Later, right? And it's really, destroying business models for all those buy now, pay later companies because they're so narrow in their scope. And, within financial services, but it's only financial service they really want to run. So in our case, we are wide enough to just adapt to it, and already, got a foot inside Web 2 as well. So it's not like we're relying on Web 3 only. So yeah, interesting times, and just trying to keep a finger on the pulse every day and see what's going on.
Yeah, just to add on that, this idea that our vision and our scope is so much bigger, and just to kind of add some more color to that, I want people to imagine being able to work at any time from anywhere in the world, like we want people to experience freedom and financial freedom, and that's a vision, that's a goal that is way bigger than cyclical, market activities. So we're trying to build something that is resilient and long term. So
awesome. Yeah, it's important to have kind of like this web of tools for really the different industries that you guys are looking to drive a foothold in, primarily Web3 and Web2. Although there's kind of like mentions of plumbers on Naetion's site, and more like blue collar physical jobs that aren't online. Is there a path to kind of like real world careers that are also represented on chain through Naetion smart contracts?
Yes, yeah, for sure. So we run, as much as possible. We have a few things where we're still trying to figure it out. So stuff like, with the, we just call them offline services. We would have to provide insurance and stuff, which we also do. So, we would still need to see, parts of it that we can't really put on chain yet. But yeah, I think the whole setup of how your health profile works is if you think of Instagram, where you're kind of given the platform and the profile, but you can just take full ownership of it and customize it and make it yours, make it your own services, and use it for whatever you want, as long as it's for bookings and for invoicing and for running a business, right? And that's why we see people doing all kinds of different stuff, where they maybe they're plumber, as you mentioned, but they also have portable speaker or something they want to rent out on weekends. They can just customize all the services in their profile and just send over the profile to anyone who might be interested in. And we think product wise that's pretty cool. And to elaborate a bit more on it, there's a lot of software built into Naetion as well. And next one up, launching very soon too, is a product called Payroll. So it's like an HR software for really all of these businesses to manage a global workforce. It's really a headache right now to manage people globally, and in their local currencies, and compliance wise, especially if you don't have an entity in that country. So we're taking care of all that. So the only thing they need to do is just find the talent they need and hire it through the payroll product. Next up is money. So it's like a neo banking where your earnings are always yours. So all your NTN tokens will go into this neo banking. You can do staking, yield farming, and you can even in 2023 there'll be a Naetion card, so you can do crypto to fiat spending super easy directly from your profile. And I mean, all of this sounds like a lot. So I think this is also the time where we make sure that people know we just secured $150 million in funding to make all this happen quickly.
Yeah, could you unpack kind of the feeling around that raise? Obviously, super exciting. Congrats on raising, and like you said, it'll accelerate. Not only does it extend the runway, but it also accelerates your timeline on down the runway and ultimately launching. As far as kind of the intention of that raise and what you guys are looking to hone in on, could you talk maybe about who your capital partners are and their expectations over time, and kind of how you align Naetion's endeavors with those expectations to make sure that them as stakeholders as well as your community are all aligned with incentives and excited about the path that Naetion is going forward on?
Of course. Yeah. So essentially, first of all, how it felt, because, we all builders, the whole team is builders, and we really just want to build, right? So we needed money to make all this happen, to make it happen quickly, and to just, continue growing. Also because, working with networks, you need to get to critical mass, right? You need to go to that point where there's enough people of enough professions that customers can actually find what they're looking for when they come to the platform. So right now we're looking at a bunch of different paths to do so. One obviously being at this stage acquisitions of networks that's already around, but maybe, you know, they're broken for some reason, or they're like very local, but they work. This will be, you know, a great way to onboard people fast. And, you know, capital partners, so it's Gem Digital, and Gem Digital really, you know, focus on, you know, up until now, it's like bigger rounds, right? So it will be like assisting a company to an IPO, stuff like that. But they just saw like this Web3 space grow like crazy as well, and wanted to, you know, get in on it, and really wanted to find something with, you know, tapping into the real world, first of all, but also, you know, with a big enough market, because a lot of Web3 projects, like, you know, wallets, there's a bunch of wallets, there's a bunch of exchanges, but they're all serving this niche, which, you know, to be honest, Web3 is still a niche. So they wanted to, you know, find someone who was working to take Web3 to, like, you know, the mass market of consumers, right? And it's not like there's a lot of you know, goals for them, I think, that we have to accomplish, but it's definitely going to like 30,000 service providers talent, like vetted, ready to go in the platform, in the network this year, and then 100,000 in 2023. Those are some of like the main milestones that we need to hit, and then obviously launching all these products within a certain time frame. So it's until Q2 23. We would need to, you know, everything that we touch on so far needs to be live and working.
Yeah, that includes the payroll as a revenue service, the NFTs, okay, cool.
And money, the neo banking, yeah.
The neo banking as well, the debit card, credit card, so that the fiat on ramp, off ramp, if you will. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, that's building out like this, you know, more robust kind of like ecosystem where people can transact. It's almost like Naetion is, you know, like a chain at a certain point. Like, you know, you guys have your own ecosystem, you have your community, but then there's also like these on and off ramps to go directly into crypto and DeFi through Naetion specifically, and maybe not interact with, you know, several, if any, of the other applications that are available on chain. And in that sense, you know, Naetion is kind of building out like a digital nation, if you will. And that was kind of the thesis of, you know, ETH is like this digital nation state. And it's, you know, like providing a landscape for people to like transact, but it's also culture, and it's like, you know, this digital identity that's living on chain. And Naetion, you know, what's your thesis on Naetion as a nation? You know, is it kind of an adjacent, parallel to ETH? You know, is it a layer on top, a layer below? Like, you know, what's your, you know, I guess what are your general thoughts as this digital nation?
Yeah, it's fun because I think almost a year ago we actually launched a press release on our thoughts on like a virtual country, and, you know, potentially even getting like actual land to talk about Naetion. But I think if you think about it, you have the health product to make sure that, you know, the citizens are covered, right? That you can go there and put up your, you know, the professions that you want to trade in the Naetion. Then you have payroll, where people can interact with the Naetion, and you have the money, where, you know, everything money within the Naetion will be handled. Then you have the decentralized governance. So as much as possible, we try to decentralize all of the decisions, even how much we should bet on new contracts with companies, you know, resolving disputes, vetting talent, all of that, making sure that's decentralized. Then we also have Naetion hubs coming this year already, which is, you know, physical workspaces that you can access if you're providing your services on the platform. So go meet up with, you know, a bunch of other Nationers, if you will, Naetion citizens, in, you know, cool locations, kind of like WeWork, but where it's like you just need to hold NFT and provide services on the platform. So yeah, you would start to see, you know, all the like the key pillars of a Naetion forming.
Yeah. Omar, is there anything, you know, like as a citizen, but also maybe like a, you know, like a Congress member? I'm not sure, you know, like exactly the role like within this digital, you know, decentralized entity. You know, like how does it feel being like one of the builders, I guess, of this new world? this new, digital nation. Like, what are your thoughts, kind of like your vision as far as like how Naetion progresses and how the citizens, have a more robust like digital life as part of this digital nation?
Yeah, yeah. The way I see it as like a figurehead in the community, I suppose, is like our vision is somewhat inevitable. If it's not going to be us, someone else is going to do it. But, it is going to be us, where, people can experience more freedom. They can, own the platform that they work and live through. They can earn 100% instead of having 20 to 40% being taken from them by, Web2 platforms. And so Web3 enables all of this, and like I said, it's inevitable. And so, yeah, I see Naetion becoming a global economy of work.
Yeah. Yeah, it's exciting and it's scary and it's like it's just like really it's just wow, like when the power of like these digital nation states and like the inevitability of their growth over time and like what they can bring back to the ultimate like value provider is really exciting. I was spending some time looking at like there's a project called Citizen that I think is doing some stuff with these like soul-bound NFTs. And then if you couple that with like, one of these like, I don't know, like digital constitution types of projects, like the framework is really being built for like these, digital nations. And ultimately it's kind of bringing elements of like, the physical landscape, like the economy, governance, all of these entities that exist in like, the centralized world are being represented on chain with much more division of labor. Like it seems like it's much more fragmented and then there's a lot more plugging in, right? And it's like, there's trade-offs, and I'm curious kind of like the trade-offs that you guys have identified of like these digital nation states when everything is kind of plug and play versus these centralized ones where, maybe you already have this idea and you think, it's available to kind of grow through the brand. But there's not already a tool out there that's providing that service. So like when you're stacking these money Legos, I guess, if you will, and you're plugging in like these different blockchain technologies into one another, what are you looking for in terms of integrations, like to bring more value to the helper, right, or the nation citizen? Like what kind of services are you looking to provide them, and then what kind of value should they be accruing either through the token or just through using the Naetion platform?
I'm not sure if you want to elaborate, Omar.
It's a good question.
Because I think like a quick one is just one of the biggest problems we identified pretty quickly is just setting up a wallet, which is essentially your ID, right, in Web3, and just to get someone who's never tried it before, either they they can't figure it out, or they just skip everything and they forget the seed phrase for MetaMask. So it's really like problematic, and so what we first of all want to build in is how we can once they make a profile, give their email and stuff to do that profile, we'll automatically assign them a wallet that'll be their ID for going forward within the ecosystem. But I think really, like, to be honest, it's like everything's kind of out there during the last 3 years or so, where I believe before then there was all those tools that at least I just missed every day. But it's like you can kind of find everything or do it yourself pretty easily nowadays.
And for me to answer your question in kind of like a larger scope sense, I believe, Alex, you recently sent a tweet by someone into our Slack where it said the next big breakout in Web3 is not going to be marketed as a Web3 project. It'll simply be useful. And I think that boils down exactly what we're doing and what we can offer people. Just tools for everyday living that are just better than the alternatives. and you don't need to be a Web3 whiz or experienced in any way really to benefit from the ecosystem.
Awesome. Yeah, and with the result of that raise, that's really going to fuel a lot of the development, a lot of the building that you guys have going on now. You mentioned like several products that are looking to provide value back to the user, who in this case is anyone who's a citizen, really, like anyone who's looking for a job and contributing to the overall landscape is a potential user of Naetion. And then giving value back to those users is kind of like your mission statement right there. Is by doing something useful, if it's just better, it doesn't need to brand itself as Web3. It's just like this valuable product that people want to use. And then of course with the demand is going to show itself with kind of the value that you guys are providing back is certainly in demand when it's useful over and above typical everyday products. So yeah, I'm super psyched to kind of like see the rollout of like the entire product line over time. I think is really important, probably starting with the Web3 space and bring more interconnectivity there. And then obviously as Web3 kind of, branches into more of the mainstream, rising tides will lift the boat and you guys will rise as well. So yeah, I'm super psyched to see Naetion continue to evolve. As far as, everyone who's listening, where can our community find us and start to get involved and look for some of the opportunities that are available on Naetion?
So I think Discord is a great place to start. If need be, if people need to learn more or are just curious, we actually have like a learn and earn system built into Discord where you can earn $100 in NTN while learning about like our vision, the roadmap, and getting more deeply involved with us directly. So yeah, I would definitely head over to Discord. We have sign up forms if you're if you're looking for talent. And yeah, also got that pre-sale link and a pre-mint link, and we'll make sure everybody can find those.
Yeah, I think they're all, you can all find them in the link tree on our socials. So that will be, on our Twitter and Instagram, everywhere where there's the link tree.
Sweet. Yeah, we'll leave the link tree in the description below. Alex and Omar, thank you for coming on. It's been a pleasure. And yeah, guys, like go get involved. Hop in the Discord. Like Omar said, there's $100 kind of just waiting there to be claimed. For that learn and earn system, and go get yourself an NFT. There's obviously tons of value that's getting provided to NFT holders over time. So pre-sale is live now on June 8th. By the time this is posted, it's probably a few more that would have been sold. So go and get your NFTs. And of course, leave a like and subscribe on this video if you enjoyed it. We'll be, obviously sharing tons more DeFi content and bringing the alpha right to you guys. So, guys, it's been a pleasure. Absolutely. Thank you for coming on. And I look forward to
Rob.
doing it again sometime.
Yeah, pleasure, man. Thank you.